Anyways, I've been telling you guys I wanted to make more than one video a week for a while, and now I'm finally getting around to doing it, it looks like. I kind of wanted to make a video that was a lot less scripted. I mean, I have a lot of, not that my videos are scripted, it's just, normally when I'm making my new releases stuff, I have a lot of information I need to get through, like a lot of factual information, and it doesn't leave me a lot of room to just talk. And I like the YouTube channels are more personal, and I feel like I wasn't getting enough of that stuff in mine. I mean, you might watch the podcast, and I do get more personal in that, but I just feel like what was on my channel here alone just wasn't enough. And I mean, I know you guys read about the albums I like every week, or not read anymore, thinking old-fashioned still, the blog. I know you guys, watch my videos and all that, so you know what I like every week, but a lot of you don't really probably know my broader music taste. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was do like a video where I kind of show off some of my collection, because I haven't really done that yet. So I'm not going to tell you guys about like every record in my collection. Obviously that would take forever, but I've just picked out a couple here that I can talk about today. And so I'm not sure how many I grabbed, and none of them are in order. I just kind of went through and picked a bunch out and tossed them on the table up here. And I did buy some new ones today, which is what got me thinking about this. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about this one, and I hope it goes well, because I'll be making more of these kinds of videos if it does, like more consistent vinyl updates and stuff. I don't know if you guys can normally see when I'm doing my videos, but I actually have a lot of stuff in this shelf down here. Well, not a lot by most collectors' standards. To be honest, my collection is pretty basic. I don't have a lot of extra cash on hand to be buying records. I am a student after all. So I have to be kind of careful about how much I buy and when. Although I have, managed to get together a pretty decent-sized collection that covers most of the basics. So I'm going to show you guys some of my favorite records today. So one of the first ones I'm going to start with is one that I bought today, and that is actually Nails, Abandon All Life. So this is, look at how beautiful it is on the back here. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too much glare. Here's the front again. Anyways, yeah, I saw this for $15, and I absolutely had to go for it. This album, this has always been... Well, I mean, I guess I kind of have to tell you about how I got into Nails. So the first album I actually heard by Nails was actually You Will Never Be One of Us. When they put that album out, it got all kinds of publicity, and that's how I got into them in the first place. And then I started going through their older stuff after that, and I realized a lot of it was much better. So Abandon All Life isn't my favorite Nails album, but it is a great one. It's one that I've loved for quite a while. So I'm really, really happy to have it on vinyl. Anyways, so here's the actual record itself. It's a 45. Most of mine aren't 45s. So this is nice to finally have one. But anyways, yeah, it also comes with this lyric sheet as well. Here it is. So you get all the lyrics and all that. But then look at this. Look at this. Like, this is beautiful. If I didn't want this to stay with the record, I would frame this, honestly. Like, that is so cool. All this for $15, I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, anyways, I'm super, super hyped about this one. Great, I guess I'll just put that here. Didn't really plan that out. Okay, the next thing I'm going to talk about, this isn't new, this is one I've had this for years. But I like this one. Not only is this one of my favorite Burzum albums, Det Som En Gang Var, but this is just really cool vinyl. Anyways, I mean, here's the inside right here, and the back. If I can get this out, I'll show you guys what this actually looks like. It's gray and white, which is pretty cool. It reminds me of those black and white cookies that you see in like New York City and stuff. But anyways, Det Som En Gang Var has always been one of my favorite Burzum albums. It's probably my favorite aside from the self-titled. And one thing that I really love about this one is just like basically the entire second half is just ambient. And it's just, it's beautiful. I used to fall asleep to that often. Those of you who have actually listened to the podcast, I actually mentioned that I've fallen asleep to the self-titled as well. actually trained myself to go to sleep to it. Because I have pretty bad sleeping problems, insomnia and stuff, so I would put it on every night as I was going to sleep, and eventually I kind of accidentally trained myself to go to sleep whenever I heard that album. So it's really hard for me to listen to the self-titled now without getting kind of drowsy. But this is another one I used to fall asleep to a lot, and I'm just really glad to have this one on vinyl. This one, I've played this so many times, and I'm glad it's not as worn out as, I expected it to be. Considering how much I've played that thing, it's held up pretty well. But yeah, that's something Gunvar. Now anyways, this is an obvious classic. This one is actually relatively new. I didn't have this on vinyl for quite some time. And I finally broke down and bought it the other day, and I'm really glad I did, because, oh, look at this. It's so beautiful. But yeah, anyways, the reason I did was because I actually bought this for a friend first, for Clint, my co-host on the podcast. And I just bought it for him, and he doesn't live around here, so, which is why I didn't buy it for myself first. But anyways, and he was telling me, like, okay, Sam, you gotta listen to this. The craziest thing has been happening. I've been hearing all these things I've never heard before in this album. And I'd been considering buying this on vinyl for a long time, just because I love it. But, did I show you guys the inside? I can't remember. But I never really got around to it. And then, the more I collect vinyl, the more I realize that there's some albums that sound totally different when you hear them on vinyl. And this is absolutely one of them. Like, I already loved this album, but now this is just, it means so much more to me now after hearing it like that. It's just such a different experience. And you do hear a lot of things that you may not have heard the first couple of times around. There are just some albums that'll do that, and Altars of Madness is another one of those for me, Morbid Angel. And I said in the podcast earlier that Effigy of the Forgotten by Suffocation has always been my favorite death metal album of all time. No close second. Like, it is just by far and away always been my favorite. But when I bought Altars of Madness on vinyl, all of a sudden that is my favorite. Like, it's just changed a lot for me, because you hear things in there that, it's the vinyl magic, you hear people talking about that, and you tend to think it's like a romantic pile of shit, but it's actually very true in a lot of cases, and that's one of them. Now, granted, I haven't heard Effigy on vinyl. I've been looking for it for a while. I don't want to order it. I like the process of, like, looking around and trying to find stuff. But once I do hear that, maybe it's the same way, I don't know, but, like, Altars of Madness. I don't know if I actually brought it up here, so let me just go grab that. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't bring this up here, but yeah, I may as well show it to you while I'm talking about it. Obviously, you guys probably know what the cover looks like, but look at these old pictures, it's great. Look at this. I love old band pictures like this, it keeps me going. Now the vinyl itself is no fancy colors or anything, but it is really nice vinyl. Anyways, yeah, I just wanted to show you that quickly because I had mentioned it. Hopefully this video isn't going to be too long. It's already like 10 minutes or like 9 minutes or something like that. And I've only gone through like 2 of the albums I had in my pile, and I've already added in like a third that wasn't supposed to be there. But I'm glad that this is going so well. I was expecting to not have that much to talk about for some reason, but I'm glad it's working out this way. Okay, this one I've had for years, and this is another one that I should be way more worn out than it is, considering the amount of times I've played this one, and this is Death Crush. So this is the first Mayhem album I got on vinyl, and it was a really good choice, because I feel like this is something that clicked for me on vinyl way before it clicked for me digitally. Anyways, yeah, so album art, this is the back of it. I love the back of this album. But the funniest thing about this one, actually, which I'll show you in a minute after I'm done showing off the inside and all that, the thing that I like the most about this is it actually is a splatter vinyl. So it's fantastic, I know, it's absolutely beautiful. But I always find this ironic because it looks like brains. Anyways, yeah. There's some great riffs on this. There honestly are, and I need to revisit this. It's making me want to. But like, songs like Chainsaw Guts Fuck, it's the greatest. I need to speed up, so I'm gonna be saying less about each album. The Cure, Pornography. This album it means a lot to me for a lot of different reasons. But I remember when I bought this, it was during the school year, and during the school year your savings kind of start to run out a little. So things are tight. Like, so there was no way I could actually afford to buy this album, but I was walking through a record shop just to look around for some stupid reason, and I saw this, and I knew I had to buy it. So I did, and I ate like half a package of ramen noodles a day after that, because I was like, I spent my food money on it. But yeah, beautiful, nice, heavy vinyl. Anyways, that's my interesting story behind this one. This is something, it's kind of a mandatory listen. Like, to me, this is, of their more depressive, like, brooding stuff, this to me feels like their most genuine. And, I know a lot of people might not agree on that, because I know they have some other stuff with the same mood that's also really good, but to me this one takes the cake. It always has. Okay. So, gonna get through more of my post-punk stuff, gothic rock stuff. Anyways, this is, ta-da, Joy Division, Unknown Pleasures. And I don't know if you can see it on the camera from here, but the cover is really cool and it's very textured. It feels so nice to just hold it. Yeah, this one, I actually bought this only a few months ago. I bought this sometime during this summer. But this album's a classic for so many reasons. The one thing that always blows me away when I listen to this, when I put it on and I haven't heard it in a while, is the bass lines. Like, songs like She's Lost Control, like, if you want to know what post-punk sounds like, you should listen to that. Like, this is just such an iconic album, and it's really great to actually have it on vinyl. It's such an experience anyways, and then having it on vinyl is just that extra, little bit. Alright, Bauhaus. So this album kind of threw me into like a goth phase when I was in high school. I love this album. Like, this is one that I personally have a long history with. Honestly, I grew up really, really, really into metal. Like, I didn't really listen to much else, and this was one of the first non-metal albums that I remember really, really loving. So this was a pretty big turning point for me in my musical journey, But, yeah, look at this. In the Flat Field. There's so many great songs on this, like, so many classics. It is such a fantastic album. Anyways, it's been years for me, and this album, every time I hear it, it still sounds like I'm hearing it for the first time. Like, it's just incredible. So, yeah, that's Bauhaus. That's my only Bauhaus album that I have on vinyl, though. I'm definitely looking to get more, but I just have a lot of bases to cover still. So, I mean, the other ones aren't as much of a priority as that one was, but I'll be getting to some others eventually. This is another album that I bought today, actually, and this is Nightfall by Candlemass, and it's a picture disc. So this is my first picture disc. I've never actually owned a picture disc before, and it's gorgeous. Just the quality of the vinyl is amazing, and just look at that. It's so cool. I saw this, and it was cheaper than I expected, so I had to go for it. But Nightfall is also one of my favorite Candlemass albums. It's actually not my favorite. That one, the title would go to Epicus Doomicus. But, one strong point here, I actually prefer the vocals on this album. Messiah was just badass. You can see them all there. I love these old band photos. But, I prefer Messiah's vocals to Johann's. But yeah, this album, like, every single track on here is so memorable. Every single track is just an absolute fucking banger. So I'm really glad that I have this now, although I would prefer to get Epicus Doomicus so I can track that down. Although they didn't have that at the store, and this was, I couldn't pass that up. Look at it, it's gorgeous. Anyways, this is, well, my last full album that we're going to talk about. Burzum, ta-da, Burzum and Ask. Anyways, Clint actually bought this for me from the podcast, if you watch it, which if you don't watch it, you should. Because, a lot of the stuff I've mentioned here today, you would have known about already if you watched the podcast. So be one of the cool kids and join us. Anyways, yeah, so this album, it means a lot to me for personal reasons. But, largely, this was the album that got me into black metal. And, to this day, if I have friends that are curious about black metal and they want to know more about it, I send them to this immediately. And, may not be the best approach because usually people are kind of weirded out by the fact that they're listening to a church burning murder, but it's just part of the appeal, honestly. Looking back on it all, Varg's such a weird guy. But yeah, anyways, this is the album that I used to play until I fell asleep, every single night. This exact one, actually. And the cover is holding up well, but the vinyl itself is actually starting to be pretty worn down. I've played this one probably more than any other record in my collection. Yeah, this is one of my favorite things that I own, quite honestly. And it's a double album, there's two. But, yeah, so I've gotten through a lot of records today. I just wanted to show off some of, the basics of my collection. And then from now on, I can do, vinyl updates, and I can go, more in-depth with each album. But these are some of the, this is some of the stuff I listen to, and I know a lot of this is pretty basic. But you guys have, if you've seen my other videos, I don't just listen to pleb stuff, so, but a lot of these are some of my favorite albums of all time. There's one more of my favorite things that I would like to show you guys, and, this is Surfing Bird. This is mostly just one I play to annoy my neighbors. I actually did spend $5 on a Surfing Bird single, so, good for me, I guess. Anyways, I thought it would just be funny to throw in. This is usually the thing people are most weirded out by when they look through my collection. They're like, wait a minute, are you Peter Griffin? But yeah, I thought I'd just mention that for fun. Anyways, yeah, I know I couldn't really go as in-depth as I liked on a lot of these, but I will definitely be able to do that, like I said earlier, if I do more collection updates. And this video is almost 20 minutes long anyways, so it's been long enough. But maybe in the future I'll show you guys some more of my collection. I know there are a couple albums in there which I could have included today, but I didn't just because I felt like this video was already going to be too long. So yeah, that is, these are some of my favorites from my collection. And I'm going to have a new video out probably Monday. I think I'm going to permanently switch to Mondays. And as usual, our podcast will be coming out every Sunday evening, and you can find it at takethispersonally.wordpress.com, and you can stream it and you can download it. But this week's episode, we're going to be talking about atmospheric black metal and kind of the path from, the old shit all the way to Atmos shit today, and how exactly did that happen, some favorites. It's going to be a pretty great episode. I'm really looking forward to it. And I believe Clint has a bit of a surprise for you guys too, so you have that to look forward to. But yeah, until Sunday or Monday if you're not going to watch the podcast. So I hope you guys have a great few days until then. And yeah, I hope you guys have some great listens too.